Hello, my friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Master Sommelier Peter Neptune here with an episode of my YouTube channel. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for telling your friends and family. And thank you for all your suggestions. Here is a suggestion that I received from one of you kind people, and it was, how do I know what wines age? How do wines age? I've been buying all these wines, and then I'm reading that 90% of what I bought probably aren't going to age very well. And that's a very common situation with people. A lot of times people are aging wines in their cellar that really were drinkable 5 years ago, or a lot of people are aging wines in their cellar that really aren't that ageable. They're not going to turn into anything better. Or a lot of people are buying wines that are already fully aged, and you should drink them. When do you drink wines? I mean, this is the ongoing conundrum with us wine collectors, us wine drinkers. There's a couple things that, I always look for, and that would be standard in thinking about aging wine. Balance, length, intensity, complexity, and structure. And if a wine doesn't have those components, it's probably not going to improve with age. And when I say age, I mean improve with age. You have a decent cellar at 58, 59 degrees, throw in a bottle of wine, it's going to keep for 5 years, and it's not going to do anything. And you go in there and you stoke that this bottle of Beaujolais that you threw in there is still good. But still good isn't improved with age. So that's a really important thing to keep in mind. Still good is fantastic. I don't need to throw it away, but it didn't get better, or it didn't mature or mutate into something else. So when I think about that, I think about, most importantly, structure and balance. A white wine would need acidity, dry extract, and the balance of fruit and other components. One of my biggest issues with a lot of New World wines is that there's too much oak on them. And that over time, as the fruit begins to turn into dried fruit and hay and mushroom, which is all fantastic, the oak part of the wine, the oak component, remains very high and overwhelms the dried fruit and the tertiary characters that fruit evolved into. So a lot of New World wines don't age that well, in my opinion, because they're over-oaked. And that component of the triangle, let's say tannin, acid, fruit, and oak, the quadrangle, that component is too high. So that's something that I would keep in mind. I don't age a lot of New World wines. In fact, not many at all. What I have in front of you, or I went digging in the cellar, and I pulled out 3 wines that age, that they've been sitting in there for a long time. And I thought, let's explore what these wines turn into. So the first wine here, as you can see, is a 2002, so a 22-year-old German Riesling. This is a mouthful. It's Paul Anhauser, Schloss Bockelheimer, Konzigfels Riesling Cabinet. Easy for you to say. The Konzigfel, or Konzigsfels, means King's Fields, Konzigsfels. And it is a vineyard site solely owned by the Anhauser family. It sits in the upper Nahe River, where it's incredibly steep, slopes made of porphyric quartz and slate. And this is the most challenging viticulture maybe in the world. These German Mosel and Nahe and Rheingau and Rheinhessen vineyards that are just unbelievably steep, with exposure to the south and southeast, so that you can ripen grapes this far north. Well, Riesling ages really well. And so I teach my students that, there are just certain varietals that age really well. Riesling, Chardonnay can age well if it's from a place called Burgundy, or it's not over-oaked. Cabernet Sauvignon can age very well. Nebbiolo can age very well. Aglianico can age very well. Assyrtiko from the island of Santorini can age really well, right? I mean, I could go on, but there are certain things we know that age really well, and Riesling is one of them. So this particular wine, if you look at it, is just beautifully mutated into this kind of medium gold color. So there's where we get the medium gold. And when we smell it, you go, oh my God. I mean, this is just evolved tertiary Riesling, and the overwhelming aroma is that aroma of petrol. I think I've talked about it before, but it's, the fuel in Europe isn't scented with that sweet chemical that we have here. It literally smells like petrol or petroleum. And so this is a characteristic of Riesling in youth and really gets pronounced in age. But man, over the top here, there's lime blossom, lime flowers, there's lime rind, there's pineapple rind. There's a hint of apple, but it's kind of almost like I don't want to say brown apple, but an apple that's, maybe applesauce is a great word here. There's pine nuts, which is related to petrol in terms of aroma, so you want to keep that in mind. There's dried honey. There's a little bit of honey. This is a Riesling cabinet, so I'm expecting some residual sugar here. There's just this incredible layer of hay underneath and mushroom and quartz and slate, and it's just absolutely beguiling and really draws you in. It's a pronounced nose and it's fully developed, okay, on the palate. Well, that's off dry. The acidity is high. Alcohol is low. So this is 8% alcohol, 8.2. The residual sugar at bottling was 40 grams, which would be medium sweet. Over time, what's evolved is the sugars, they haven't gone away, but they've become assimilated into the wine, but the acid remains absolutely crisp, high, and mouth-filling, and drives this wine forward. This is absolutely brilliant wine. Oh my goodness, this is great. So the wine seems off dry on the palate, and the intensity is pronounced. The body is medium minus. I mean, it's a light-bodied, very low alcohol wine. You could have this for breakfast. This is like some Belgian beers out there. And the finish is intense and concentrated, and finish is where you feel that intense slatey minerality, just this quartz slate minerality. And we get the applesauce was a great call. This kind of lime blossom, petrol, pine nut, hay, mushroom, absolutely stunning wine. Outstanding for sure. I can't wait to try this actually, like tomorrow and see what this wine will evolve over the next 48 hours. So, man, German Riesling, with or without a little bit of sugar. Your Grosses Gewachs your Grosses Gewachs wines, which are dry, evolve just like the wines with sugar. A Trockenbeer and Auslese German Riesling could probably age for 100 years if it was under screw cap. The cork for this, by the way, was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely perfect. Congratulations to the Anheuser family for producing such really, really great wine. The next wine is a wine that I love. I love Barolo and Barbaresco. I love Nebbiolo. I've got a lot of them in my cellar, and I decided to pull out a 1996 Roque di Brovia Barolo Roque. It's from the Castigliano Folletto village of Barolo. Castigliano Folletto is known for the Roque vineyard, and then at the very top, Brico Roque. Brico in Piemontese means the top of the hill. So you see these words a lot. Brico Facet, Brico Roque. The Roque vineyard is just below the Brico Roque section, and it's an absolutely brilliant vineyard. One of the great, what we call MGAs of Barolo, the new designation that delineates the vineyards like Grand Crus, if you will. Menzione Geografica Aggiuntive. Menzione Geografica Aggiuntive, MGA. You can get a map of them from Rare Wine Company. This vineyard is owned by the Roque di Brovia family. So the section of the vineyard. So this is a state bottled wine at about 350 meters above sea level with that very classic sandy over calcareous marl soil of Barolo. Well, what do we have here? This is a medium garnet with a definite orange rim, which I would expect. But what's fascinating is that we tasted a Nebbiolo, a 2020 Nebbiolo in my recent level 2 class, and it was very pale garnet. And I told students that Nebbiolo doesn't give you a lot of color. It gives you a lot of tannin, a lot of acid, a lot of alcohol, but not a lot of color in youth. But what's fascinating to me, in being lucky enough to taste older versions of Nebbiolo, is that the wines actually get a little darker as they get older. So this wine probably started off as a pale garnet, and then it got more medium garnet with that beautiful, vibrant orange rim. On the nose, it's everything we would expect from aged Barolo. So, oh man, there's that kind of barnyardy character. It's turned compost, it's turned soil, it's rich soil, it's very mushroomy. There's a lot of, I'm truffle hunting with my dogs out in the Piemontese forest, and it's very exciting. I think I'm about to find a 2.5 pound black truffle, which would make me a lot of money. It's got dried strawberry, dried cherry. It's got a lot of dried plum. There's tar, there's rose petals, there's violets, there's leather, there's orange peel, lemon peel, there's dried apple, dried red apple. It's an absolute cornucopia of tertiary aromas. This is pronounced and fully developed. Man, I could go on and on. Let's try it. Bone dry, acid high, tannin. Started off high, now it has evolved to medium plus after 20 something years. Just chewy, lot of tannin. Wine doesn't have as much fruit as I would like. It's lost a little bit of its fruit. It's really all tertiary. Alcohol's high, body is still full, intensity is pronounced. And it's, you know, it's just lost a little bit of fruit. It's dried fruit. It's kind of like potpourri, like an old corsage in an old yearbook in a cedar chest. So it's really all tertiary. There's not much fruit. I actually am going to try this again tomorrow and see whether or not, you know, just kind of leaving it open, and then maybe I'll give it a half-hour decant tomorrow, see whether it opens up with a little more fruit. Maybe it's just a little closed in right now. I like it, but I like these kind of wines, but it's just lost a little bit of its fruit character. Everything else is there for sure. Vibrant acidity, beautiful round tannin, good body, good mouthfeel, all that tertiary stuff going on. So it's like an old snapshot of the past, and in that way, wine is super cool. It doesn't need to be perfect. This is good right now, and it might be very good tomorrow. I don't know if I can remember when I tape next. I'll let you know how it was a couple days later. Okay. Last up, I'm not giving you prices because these wines have been in my cellar for years. This Barolo, if you bought it now, it's probably $200 new. This wine is probably 50. I have no idea what Chateau Gloria sells for right now. Current vintage, probably Chateau Gloria, probably 60, 70. This is a 1976 Chateau Gloria Saint-Julien. This is on the left bank of Bordeaux. Saint-Julien is one of the key growing communes of the left bank. It's known for wines that have the power of Pauillac and the perfume of Margaux. Chateau Gloria was created in the 1940s by Henri Martin. There's his name right on the label, Henri Martin. And what he did is he bought land nearby Chateau Léoville-Poiferret and Chateau Bécherville. Not bad land, guys. The estate was included, this is interesting, I looked this up, was included in the proposal by the INAO, the Institute of Appellations, to revise the 1855 classification. And it subsequently became listed in the private classification of Alexis Lichine. Wow. So it has garnered a reputation in the modern era as being worthy of classified growth status. As far as I can tell, well, the vineyard is planted to 65% Cabernet Sauvignon, 25% Merlot, 5% Cabernet Franc, 5% Petit Verdot. This is a pale garnet with a lot of orange. Half the rim is orange. It looks very, very old. There's even some amber in this wine. It's quite a pronounced nose, and it's quite beautiful. It's very floral. It's like crushed rose petals and crushed hyacinth, and even a little bit of lily of the valley. It's ethereal. I'm gonna put it at medium plus nose, but it's wafting over the palate with kind of this orange tangerine rind, floral, little raspberry roll up, a little bit of strawberry in the background, and leather and parchment paper. And it's quite a lovely, very elegant, artistic nose. How's that? Let's give it a try. This is much better than I thought it would be. I had low expectations. It's not like 76 was some great year. It's considered a good year in Bordeaux. Dry, acidity medium plus, tannin medium minus. Alcohol's medium, probably 12%. Body is medium, and on the palate, it's got the old alcohol, alcohol 11.5%. And it's got beautiful body, beautiful roundness. I like this wine a lot. This is very good. It's like tasting, somebody made a high school experiment and they could do wine. They were at the high school of wine, the College of Wine. And they took orange peel and parchment paper and corsage, but there's rose and violet and lily and raspberry and almost like raspberry liqueur, and just blended it all together in this really elegant, stylistic mouthfeel of old. I mean, what's the math on here? Are we nearly 50 years old? 46-year-old wine. I'm stunned by how good this wine is. I'm really blown away. So, wow, we got lucky, but again, I kind of know what I'm doing here. The wines I lay down for this kind of long-term aging are wines from varietals that show proven age worthiness, where again, they have a combination of, what did we talk here? We want to look for balance, length, intensity, complexity, and structure. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Tell your friends, tell your family, and I'll see you next time.